Okay. All right. Very basically, there are two main ways to screen papers on Moora. Now, screening means many different things, of course. Title abstract screening, title screening at the search engine level, full text review screening. In this case, let's talk most in terms of title and abstract screening. So once you have your papers in your library, then how do we go through our first round of screening? I think that's primarily what's brought up when you think of screening. There are two main ways to do it in Moora. One of them is to do it at the library table level, something that's often either missed or sort of not really quickly understood as being a available mechanism. The second is the actual screening page, and I'll show you that as well. This I view as a very kind of new, interesting way to screen. Um, you don't need to, on paper, go through one by one title and abstract screening, and maybe even on top of it, you don't have to maybe assign, you can, but you don't have to assign reviewers to each paper. This is a good way to do it. So I will say that you can do things like assign reviewers on this page, but importantly, first things first, you can go through and actually screen papers individually. So maybe as I'm looking through, for example, the summary page, excuse me, the summary field, as I'm looking through maybe the main findings, which I've added from my enrichments menu. And as I'm looking through, for instance, you might actually introduce some specific, as we did in a different session, some custom include exclude criteria. So you're looking through all of these, and if you want to, you can one by one mark priority levels. Similarly, you can also, I'm just moving the recording button there. You can also actually assign people here as well. So you can, if you want, one by one assign. My name is research based, but if I added a collaborator to this project, I could assign them as well. And you can do that, do things that way. Similarly, you can batch assign, batch tag, batch prioritize. And here's where this really gets powerful is when you actually, let's say, create include exclude criteria via custom enrichment, or you create some kind of study design, custom enrichment, then you can actually filter, and just for the papers that you filter, you can batch assign these, you can batch tag these. So this is one way to very quickly screen papers. What I typically do, just FYI, is I'm actually usually going through and reading through and comparing summary columns or maybe main findings columns, and I just do my priorities one by one typically. So for most reviews, that's how I'm operating. And that, again, really simple way to quickly screen papers. Now here's the other option. Head over to your tools section. I've already added this one. Let me just take these out so you can see the workflow. I'm going to go to my tools, and let's say I indeed notes. This is not very, very interesting. Let me move my picture there because ... populations. That's why it's low. Studies US, low priority, whatever you want. You can call those almost include, exclude tags. Click Save and Next. You can continue to go through Save and Next. And once again, I'll reiterate, all of this flows back to the library in the form of priority tags. So those are the main two ways to go about screening. If you're working in a systematic review or a semi-systematic review, you'll probably use this page. If you just want quick filters and quick screening, trying to figure out what you should dive into in terms of full text reviews, I recommend working on the library table.